Percent of change is the percent a number or a quantity, right? Forgot a T in there. Quantity. The percent a number or a quantity, because quantity is another word for number. The percent a number or quantity. And can percents increase?
Yeah.
So the percent a number increases, or what else could happen to it?
Decreases.
Or decreases. From the original amount. The percent a number, quantity, increases, goes up, or decreases, goes down from the original amount. Here's the formula. I'm going to write it two ways. It's the amount of change divided by the original amount. It's the amount of change divided by the original amount. And since it's a percent, we're going to times 100. Right? Because percent of 100. It's the amount of change divided by the original amount. How much did it change? Did it change by $20?
No.
Did it change by $8? The amount of change divided by the original amount. So let's practice. It went from $100 to $114. It went from $100 to $114. How much did it change? What was the amount of change? How do you figure out the amount of change? What do you do to find the amount of change, Sam?
Subtract 114 by 100.
Yeah, from 100 to 114, right? It changed $14. And I found that because 114 minus 100 is 14. Over, the original amount was 100 times 100.
But there's no percent.
We have to put it on there. That's what the times 100 does.
So every time we do times 100.
So what is it? 14 divided by 100 times 100 is
14.
14%. Now we're not done. It's a 14% what? Increase. Let's try another one. That's it. From 854.6, let's say that's the average number of people who rode the bus, to 60.6. What's the amount of change? It went from 854.6 and now it's at 60.6. How do you figure out the amount of change? What do you do? Subtract.
794.
What?
794.
794 was the amount of change. It changed 794 people or whatever. Not over 100 divided by 854.6, the original amount, times 100. What do you get? What? 92.9, so let's round it up to 93. But I'm not done.
Decrease.
Faith, what is it? Decrease.
92.9.
And it's a decrease because I went from 800 to 600, right?
Yeah. Why would you round it up to 93?
Because it's 92.9.
Oh.
Okay, so there's another way of saying this whole formula. The amount of change divided by the original amount times 100, right? Another way of saying that is to say new minus old divided by old times 100. The new price minus the old price divided by the old price times 100. But here's my problem. This sometimes gives you a negative. And I don't want negatives. So it's not really new minus old, it's the absolute value of new minus old. What was absolute value?
The value away from 0.
Absolute value of something.
The distance something is from 0. Absolute value is always what?
The number without the thing.
Yeah, it's always positive.
How do you do absolute value next?
You can't. You just take the negative off. So let's try using this formula. If you don't want to use this formula because you don't want to have to worry about the negatives, can you still do this? I mean, it's the same thing. How do you figure out the amount of change? What'd you do to get 794?
You do
You subtracted, which is the same thing that we're doing down here. So let's try one more. Let's do... From 9.6 to 4.8. You can do it either way. You can find the amount of change, or you can do the new price minus the old price. What's the new price minus the old price? 4.8 minus 9.6 divided by, what's the old price? 9.6 times 100. I filled it all in just so that you'd know what it was going to look like.
It's negative 50, but
What's 4.8 minus 9.6?
negative 4.8.
Negative 4.8?
Yeah.
But I don't want negative 4.8. I want the
Absolute value
absolute value, so I want positive 4.8. Divided by 9.6 times 100.
is
50 what?
50%.
50% what? Decrease.